I wore my green outfit, right?
It's my sister-in-law's birthday.
Well, tell her we said happy birthday. Okay, for those of us who had a few Irish people in the family, somebody told me the other day that there are 7 million Irishmen in Ireland, and on St. Patrick's Day there's 40 million in the U.S. So they got around. But welcome to the business meeting. We'll try to keep it short. We've got two presenters tonight. They're both remote. One of them is stuck in Florida. John Tramontanis couldn't find his way through the security people. No, his plane was canceled, so he ended up spending about 4 different gates he had to go to, and finally crashed about 2:30 in the morning. So. When you're in Florida, you're trying to get back to Atlanta, and so is everybody else. Okay. This is the typical agenda we've got going. We kind of keep it on a regular basis, and we're trying to start on time, believe it or not. We open the meeting with the remote group at 7 o'clock and get a social scene going on. The Raleigh club that I was a part of, I go to their meetings once in a while, and I noticed they did that, and they really had a pretty good-sized group that would spend a fair amount of good social time, and so we've got ours starting to open at 7 o'clock as well. So if you're remote, remember that and join the party early. Okay, let's see. We'll probably go ahead and just jump to the business meeting and get through with that fairly quickly tonight. You guys know where the restrooms and the exits are, I think, and we've got a remote audience going. How many do we have on the remote side tonight? 12? Okay, good guess. All right, and there's coffee and snacks over there, and as Mike said, you got to take them home if we don't eat them. Okay. We had 3 take the test this past Saturday, and 2 of them passed. One didn't quite make it, the youngest one, and she's going to give it another shot. But we got these 2, and Mike and Martha and I had a nice chat with these folks, and I think we'll be seeing them in the club. So we had a good group. It was a small group, but they did a nice job with it. On the calendar coming up, we've got the ARIS outing. It was postponed, and it's somewhere the week of March 30th. I don't think we have a date yet. I'm sorry?
We'll have a date next
Monday. We'll have a date next Monday. Okay. All right. The Georgia QSO Party is coming up April 11th and 12th. We'll go through that tonight. Also, the April meeting on the 21st. I don't know how many of you know much about ham radio prep and World Radio Log, but James Cribbs is the CEO. He started both those companies about 5 years ago, and he's got a pretty good sense of a tool set for practice licenses and things like that. He's on the expensive side. You don't get it for $5, but I've talked to some of the people who've come through the technician courses and the general courses, and they like what they see, and they were real pleased with it, so for what it's worth. He's going to do the presentation. He joined our club about 2 or 3 months ago. He lives here, and he's been a ham for, I think, less than 10 years. So he was looking to get with a club that could help fill in some of the blanks for him and give him some broader experience. And I think you'll like him. He'll do a nice job with the presentation. I've used the products, and I like them a lot. The logging program, there's an annual fee for it, so it's not inexpensive, but I like the capabilities of it. It was easy to turn on, get going, and do the cat control and have everything running. I was pleasantly surprised. Okay, the ham cram technician class. I'm not sure how many of you know about that yet, but we decided to go ahead and get back in the teaching business, and we're going to do a ham cram May 2nd. We've already signed up some folks from the, I'll get it right in a minute, Tech Fest, thank you. and we didn't get as many as we thought, but ended up, the crowd was a little younger than we had expected, but it's up on the website, you'll see it. The sign-in's there, and you can basically pre-register off the website, and then go in and actually register and pay using a credit card, using the Mart. It's got products sitting there for the classes, and so that's where we're going to run it. Roy's got that set up, and it's working out pretty well so far, I think. And it's going to be a one-day class. It's basically a 6-hour, go through 400 questions, make sure they understand that ahead of time, they've got to spend probably, you name it, a week or 2 or 3 or 4 going through all the questions and trying to make sure they have a sense of what they're like before they get to the class. And that the class will do the iteration on the ones that are not understood, as opposed to go through every single one and explain the theory behind it. We're not going to be doing that. A lot of clubs are moving to this format. And I went to the Georgia Tech one. Georgia Tech Club did one in December, and I went there. They had 40 kids go through it, and Audrey McElroy was one of the instructors there. She's the president of the Ham Club, or was last year. And I got the idea that, that seems a reasonable way to do it. About 2 years ago, we did a 1-week course. It took 4 or 5 of us a whole week, and we got it done, but we taught a lot of theory. And one of the things we ran into was we had kids that were 12 and 13 years old, and one of them said, we've never had algebra yet. So we realized we had to do a little bit of work on that. But the point is, we're going to try to have this on at least do 2 a year on the technician side, and on the general and extra, we're probably going to see if we can't morph it into. And by the way, this is a pilot to kind of shake everything out with the first one for the technician. But with the general and extra, I think we're going to try to do the self-study with the students offline instead of doing a class for it. And I think with the tool set that Ham Radio Prep and some of the other guys have, it's a reasonable thing to do. So we'll try to get back in that groove a little bit. Also, we're trying to line some workshops up. And one of the things I want you all to start thinking about is, what kind of workshops would you like to do? I'll give you a couple examples on the slide up here. One of them is an Anderson power pole. I printed that with my 3D printer, and bought the Anderson power pole pieces and straightened them out and soldered them together, and you can stack these together. So this is one that we might want to think about. It's a lot easier than you might expect, and we've got enough 3D printers here. We can get these things printed. That's one idea. Another idea is to take a look at when we do the technician class. A lot of people say, I got my technician license and I got a radio, I don't know how to program it, and I don't know how to get on the air. So we're going to try to take them all the way from giving them the technician test, helping them get through the questions, take the test. We're going to give the radios, the Baofeng radios away to each one person that's less than 18 years old. And they also get a 1-year membership to NFARL. And then after that, we're going to say, all right, let's build a J-pole antenna in a workshop, and getting them an antenna and get them on the air, and spend some time with them trying to make sure they're actually on the air, as opposed to they have a license and don't know what to do with it. So that's kind of the plan for the plan. The other thing we're going to do is we're putting together, Mike is putting together I don't know how many of you have ever heard the term a code plug. It's an old term with two-way radios, but basically all it is just a listing of the frequencies, all the parameters you have to put in, and it's just a Excel's file sheet, and use chirp. Some of you have heard that term, and Mike's putting the list together. So if any of you folks have any particular frequencies you want on that list, talk to Mike and see if you can pay him enough to put it on there. But the idea basically is to say, take the 50-mile radius from basically right here, the center of where we really operate from, 50-mile radius, take all those repeaters, the 2-meter and the 440 analog FM repeaters, And then add to that the Aries stuff, racy stuff. I'll get it right in a minute. Depends on how you want to pronounce it. Also, the weather channels and some other channels we'll put on there that we may put, if there's a calling frequency for GMRS, it might be worthwhile putting a channel or two on there for that. But the idea is to say, hey, let's go ahead and build a let's say less than 100 channels and set it up so that we can, if you want to, in the club, you can load the set up, and actually when we go to field day, we can actually use our radios to do coordinate on field day because we won't get on the same frequencies. But so we're putting the list together. It looks like most radios can handle at least 100 channels. Mike's said, hey, we don't need that many channels, and he's probably right. So we're gonna, but that's the longest part of the list. And we may set it up so we have two different kinds of two different programs. One is if you're a new ham, you might want to start from 0 or 1. But if you've got channels on there that you want to keep, you might want to have the first channels for the veteran radios, the ones you've got that you want to keep in the first 20, and then put the other ones on top of that. So we're kind of working through that and trying to figure out what to do with it. So if you have any suggestions, please give them to Mike and or me, and we'll see if we can't get that done. The idea is to have the first 10 loaded up for this class and hand them out and ready to go. So we're trying to get through that process. And that'll take care of that, I think. Yeah, here's the what's on the website, and you'll see that there's the ad for it that Roy put up, and also the QR code. You can actually go in and register with it, and you can go all the way through the whole process. And we're sending a letter out to everybody who registers. You know, make sure you get the FRN number, go through all the things that they need to have when they show up, including don't forget to study. And we're going to be doing here's a chronology of what we're going to do with them as we get going. Like for instance, there's a meet online coming up March 26th to say, hey, how far along are you? Tell me what your test results are. Make sure, we're just trying to make sure that they're engaged and are going to be successful. So that's the whole idea behind this. We just talked through the education plan, kind of what we're going to do with it, give you an idea, and the workshops. And by the way, if any of you have any workshop ideas you'd like to have, one of the things you might think about is, a workshop on a Saturday. We can do it in here. We've done some, winding balance and 49-to-1 transformers, doing antennas. So think about that. Some things you might like to suggest. But also think about the fact that now we have meet. There might be some things that you want to do on meet in terms of maybe getting more familiar with it, having some classes on that in terms of how to use the workspace. We can do some of that kind of stuff as well. So open it up a little bit when you start to think about what you want to do in a workshop. But I'd like to go ahead and start getting some of them lined up. Roy's been kind enough to say that he'd give us a kind of a plan for a plan, give you a sense of what he's going to do with the website, a little bit of an introduction, and also what he's going to do with it, and show you what a lot of you say, well, it doesn't have this or it doesn't have that, or it used to work this way or that way, and we'd like to get through some of that conversation and start finishing up the back end. Roy's got the front end in pretty good shape, and I think there's some old stuff on the back end that he's starting to weed out, but I'll let him tell that story when we get to it. And then we got field day coming up, and we got that in 2 months, right? The program on that?
So field day is on the last weekend of June, or the fourth weekend of June, depending upon how you want to look at it. We've already got the site registered with the city of Roswell, so we're on the way.
We're using the same service.
Yep. We even got the same trailer. Needs another bath.
It always needs a bath.
Field day site is at Roadway Park, excuse me. Community Park, which is the Roswell Soccer
Yeah, it's a nice location. And for those of you who might not know it, I was doing some backgrounder work on the club, and I was surprised in the 3A class, we've won more years than most in the last 15 years. And so you guys ought to be proud of that. But it's an awful lot of fun. We got a lot of new hams last year with the go-to tent, and so I'm looking forward to it. In fact, my first field day was about 4 years ago, and I played with antennas, and I realized that Chuck Catledge did the design for the 80-meter loops that we use. And I was on for 2 hours. It's the first time I'd ever worked field day, and I'm not a real contester, but I had a lot of fun doing this. I worked for 2 hours, and I didn't have to change frequency at all. I thought to myself, I like that antenna. And so that started my trip towards a loop in my backyard. But anyway, we had a lot of fun with it. Okay, that's the business part of the meeting. Anybody got anything they want to bring up? Okay, don't be bashful. All right, we're a little ahead of time, but well, Mike Cohen will do the Meshtastic program next. But why don't we go ahead and do I hear a motion to adjourn the business meeting? Motion to adjourn. Second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody want to go home now? Okay. All right. Thank you very much.